Oof, y'all. It's midnight. Unfiltered, uncut. Main event mamas. Let it out. Yeah. Past 12 on the clock, got the mic turned high. Leaving all the polished little lies outside. We work hard, play hard, hold the whole house down. But right now in the dark, we can lose the crown. Got a secret on your mind that you gotta release. So a little bit of petty that'll give you some peace. Whether you're holding a grudge or holding a dream, come step behind the curtain, say the unsaid things. Step into the booth, let your truth spill out. Say the things you only wanna whisper about. When the clock strikes 12, no judgment here. Just the realest in the room, making everything clear. Is it deep? Is it fun? Is it wild? Is it true? Yeah, the midnight confessions coming straight from you.
Welcome. I'm so excited tonight. I'm Kiara. We're missing Tanisha, but she'll be here shortly. To welcome you guys to Midnight Confessions. You are now entering our sister chat. And tonight, I know y'all been waiting for it, and so have I. The state of women's wrestling. We're breaking it down with our amazing panel. So before we get started, I just want to remind you, wherever you are watching me, hit that subscribe button because you do not want to miss out. We like to go live randomly. So the only way you're going to know is if you hit that subscribe button. And with that, there's no reason to wait. Let's bring our panel in. Hello, panel. So excited for you guys to be joining us tonight. And so I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started. Let's start with Stacy.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here again. I'm Stacy, and I'm part of the crew at the Executives View. We do WWE wrestling and all sports all the time. So I'm excited to be the women's perspective with a bunch of guys. So I love it when I get to hang out with my ladies and spend some time and have some real talk. So thanks for having me.
Of course. Next up, Candace.
Hi guys, I'm Candace. I'm back for another panel. I'm not a content creator, but I am a friend and a fan of the show, and I always just love and just discussing and talking about wrestling. And if you are a frequent consumer of the show, then you will see me often in the chats talking. So I'm just happy to be here, just discussing the state of women's wrestling.
All right. Last up, but not least.
My name is Skinner. I'm also a private citizen. I do not create content, though. I love it. And I got into professional wrestling, like, actually not that long ago, but when I got into it, I got super into it. So I definitely have a lot to say about it. And I'm a huge advocate for women's sports. I still play softball. I was very heavily and still am involved in the roller derby community for like 12 years. So I have big feelings and thoughts about women's sports in general. And Lord knows I have plenty to talk about when it comes to women's wrestling today. So yeah, I'm excited to join you guys today.
I'm excited to have you. So just like I told you guys, our panel, our chat, we're all in it together. We're going to have this great conversation. We're covering AEW, NXT, WWE, and TNA. And we're breaking down the good, the bad, the worst, and some fixes. We think that might make things a little easier for us. So with that, all right, where do I start? Because I feel like I have so many feelings. I think at this point, being a wrestling fan for more years than I actually want to admit, but 20 plus years or so, been here, seen it all, back in the Macho Man days, all the way to our current bloodline situation, and I've been here. I was here for WCW. I was here for ECW. I hung around for a lot of the W's, to be honest, and still do for the most part. And I think what we're seeing right now, the reason why this whole panel came up is that each week we come online, we have our live streams, and we vent about the state of women's wrestling. We complained that we don't see people enough. Where's this person? What are you doing? Why is everybody in a tag team? So I wanted to bring all of us together to really start to unpack that. Because I know every time I'm in the chat, I find that we're not the only ones feeling like that. And I thought it was important for all of us to come together and have our voices heard. So with that, our panel, our chat, you guys are welcome to chime in. Y'all will be popping up on the screen. We will answer questions, thoughts, all of that, as we always do. Midnight Confessions is all about the vibe. I would love to tell you, I am paying homage to Montez tonight with my red solo cup. Though there's nothing too fun in there, it's just juice. That's right. We doing it. We doing it.
Right.
So prayer homage, you know what I'm saying? Hope him and Bianca are doing great with their gorgeous Romeo. And with that, all right, y'all. First, what do you see as the biggest issue for the women's division? Pick a promotion because we're going one by one. But overall, what is the one thing that really you find to be a pain point or that bugs you as you're watching wrestling today? Anyone feel free to go first. I know I feel like that's a big question.
We could fill the entire time with one question in a way, you know.
We could, but we won't. I promise. We won't.
Yeah.
But we could.
For me, I think that one of the problems I have is the lack of feuds that you have that are not tied to a title. Like the Bailey Lyra feud was a really good example. I feel like this was a feud that you could have like cooked for a little bit longer.
Mhm.
They had been chasing the tag team titles for a year, maybe a little bit over a year. And I feel like that it would have been a really good feud. And it's not tied to a title. And so I think that that's like meaningful feuds that are non-title feuds. You don't really see that. I feel like a lot of the feuds are, tied to a title. I guess right now you do also have Jade versus Charlotte, but I think that's my biggest thing. It's just sort of like meaningful storylines or meaningful feuds. That's one of my biggest issues, among others. There's plenty.
I know there's a lot. I mean, we're really about to go promotion by promotion, but we just want to start it off. Stacy Skinner, what you got?
I think for me, it's the lack of vision. I feel like that we have a certain small core group, and it's predominantly with the women, because I mean, you can see that I feel like they're throwing darts when it comes to a lot of the men's storyline. But to Candace's point, there's a lack of vision. If you're not in pursuit of a title, we're not going to have a long-term storyline vision for anybody, right? We're not aligning it where it makes sense. So you bring somebody up from NXT, you bring somebody in from TNA, you bring them in, we're going to sign everybody because, right, that's the goal for WWE is we're going to hoard the talent. So you bring them in and we sign them, but we have no vision for what we're going to do with them. There's no thought of, okay, so she's a high flyer. Where can we sit her that it makes sense? She's a grappler. Where can we link her that could give us a vision for the mid cards and the above the mid cards? Because once you hit the top, right, they're going to give you TV time, whether it's conversation, whether it's promos, whether it's whatever. But when they bring you in and they get you in the mid card, because really the only person that we've seen successfully hit the mid cards is Chelsea and now Becky. So they had to bring in a top talent and have her take the mid card belt on the red brand just to make it relevant, which made no sense. So there's no vision without having one or two heavy hitters. And that doesn't make sense because we have so much amazing talent on different levels that if they would put some vision and some forethought into some great storylines that we could all sink our teeth into, that they don't want to give time to those visions. So they're just going to valet or sideline or group women together because I think we talked about this the last time we were together. All of our major players for the women's division were all in tag teams. Because why? Because there was no vision to give anyone something outside the box of, let's put them all together so we can put 6 women on the TV at the same time. They're all getting TV time.
Right.
It's 3 minutes, but we can say we gave 6 women TV time. So there's not enough vision to build rich, strong storylines to make a difference from what they're giving us.
100%.
I mean, that's another good point. I absolutely agree with that, for sure.
Yeah. I think that's right on the money, and I think that, like, I would add that even just, and it's so sad because I feel like, what are we back in the Divas era? But it almost feels like there just is there's a complete lack of willingness to give those opportunities, and it's not just necessarily about screen time, but I mean, as silly as it might be, for example, even though they're not called, the SmackDown tag team titles and the Raw tag team titles, the men's division still has 2 tag team titles. If that's, redundant, so be it, but at least even the sides, you know what I mean? Like, I think that WWE just does not give any credit to, things that they could even replicate. I mean, there's success with mixed tags in AAA, which is so much fun to watch. And hey, look, it elevated Ethan Page, and now he's on your main roster. Like, there are things that they are doing for the men to give them opportunities and utilize them in different capacities to give them all that much more chance to get over and to develop with new characters and everything. And it just seems like there's a complete stalemate within the women's roster to do those same exact things. And, that's just part of it. But I think that it kind of definitely, I would almost consider, Stacey, like kind of like 2 sides of the same coin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think all your points are valid and really important because I've struggled a lot coming back and watching and just trying to understand what's going on. Because one of the things that drew me back into it was, oh my goodness, women are getting equal time. We're getting to be just as physical. We're getting to be just as bloody. Like, that's, to me, feels more equitable. And also, like, I mean, if I'm fighting you, I'm not going to look pretty. I'm going to fight you. And I'm right? Like, and to me, it felt more real that way. I know what wrestling is, but I also know when I'm in it, and I want to be into the fight, into the feud, into all of it. And I think everything you guys said was valid and really important. But one of the other things that I noticed in particular was the ring time, which I will share some thoughts with you. But we're going to go to chat real quick. A lot of times I feel like the women's division is an afterthought. It is. It is. That is an excellent point. And one of the things that I get so frustrated about, like, if you're new here, welcome to the Mama Squad. All are invited. But it is just such a frustration to me because I feel like if you put that same energy into the women's division, it would pay dividends, right? Whereas sometimes I feel like female fans are an afterthought, right? Like, which is crazy to me. Who do you think is paying the tickets for their kids? Okay, it's not always the men folk. We out here buying the t-shirts, the food. Like, you are out here spending money when you go to these events. And I would tell you, 9 times out of 10, it wasn't my dad buying all that. It was my mom, like, okay, you need a shirt, and let me get you a drink, and now you need food. Like, we were spending every time we went to an event. And so to me, it just feels like disrespectful, ultimately, in the long run. But let's talk TV time, y'all, because I got some thoughts and some feels. I did a little research for y'all, okay? Let's see if I can share this on the screen. Because, my goodness, I have a chart. I worked on this, y'all. Let's see if I can get this to pull up the right way.
The issue is the booking too, and the timing in the ring. I agree.
Shout out to my brother in the chat. That's my brother.
Oh. Hi. I agree with you. Let's see if I can get this to do it. All right. Let's see. All right. So I put together a full chart here to see what we were working with, right? I have to move us so y'all can see the chart in one spot. There we go. Because I wanted to see how much TV time women are getting across all the promotions. Because, like, what I always feel like, I always assumed that NXT was doing better. Then I felt like TNA does a decent job. And then I kind of felt like AEW would be third because just based on their work and so far what we've seen. And they do a lot of billing with top talent, right? Well, this is from the last 6 months, starting in November 2025. And we found that NXT has 40 to 45% of the broadcast spent on women's matches or promos. Does that surprise anybody?
Not at all.
No.
No. I was like, they were my number one. So I never had any thought there. But after that came Raw at 30 to 33%. Then came TNA, 28 to 30%. And then we're rounding it out with SmackDown and Dynamite and Collision at the bottom. SmackDown having 20 to 25%, Dynamite 21 to 22%, and AEW Collision 18 to 19. That's a lot of a difference from 40 to 19. Like, that is insanity to realize how much time difference is by promotion, and the focus on women's wrestling is a little shocking for me. But I wasn't done, y'all. I did another chart. So I wanted to know how long the matches were per se. I was like, okay, so I'm assuming even if Dynamite and Collision, I will say it, the matches on Dynamite feel like they are longer to me than what we see anywhere else. It turns out Dynamite has the average longest matches for that one woman's match, 1.5 that weekend. 11 minutes and 13 seconds is the average. Welcome, welcome to our chat. Then came Raw at 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Then came NXT, who technically, again, more matches, but their length about 8 minutes. Then we end up crazy SmackDown, then Impact, and then Collision. Does that shock anybody?
I mean, it's right off the top, it speaks to SmackDown especially, and how that's just a massive gap in terms of what are we doing with any of the women on the roster for SmackDown. And, you know, panic factions are made with no explanation whatsoever, you know, just kind of trying to freestyle it, and it's not working.
It's not. I agree with you.
And if you see there's a difference, such a significant difference between Raw and SmackDown, and the majority of the time that you did this poll, SmackDown was 3 hours. So it had a longer total TV time than NXT or Raw, but they're giving the least amount of time to our women's talent, and coincidentally, they also have the majority of the women's roster on SmackDown. So the most women talent versus Raw, the least amount of time, and they also have the most time to show it. Also, if you think about that, you know, we're not supposed to have a time limit on Raw, right?
Nope.
That was the whole point of going to NXT. That's how they sold it to us. That's how they want us to know we have more time and flexibility to be more creative. It has the smallest amount of women, and often it's 2 hours 15, 2 hours 20 minutes, and also they added in 25 minutes worth of commercials.
Right.
Sweet Jesus.
So
their streaming.
If you look at the balance of time, it makes no sense.
Zero.
Just no sense.
0 cents. I absolutely agree with you. Yeah. I mean, that research there, I was shook when I actually looked at the results, because I assumed, I was like, Dynamite, obviously. Nope. Nope. Like, NXT by far, but their matches are short, but there's more of them. And so it does seem like that's why they're more represented. And yes, there are 24 women signed to SmackDown right now. You're absolutely right. This is the
Yep.
crazy part of all of this. Why is there such a gap there? Like, that means the majority of your women are sitting in the back eating catering.
I was gonna say you got 21 women in catering every Saturday or every Friday. Yeah.
Yep. Unless they're valeting, in which they come out for a little bit.
They're making TikToks. They're
That's
making
right.
social media content because that's what they have to do.
Where their promos get cut and then they just get, tacked on
Yes.
as online only content. Yeah.
That's right.
That's my son, by the way.
Collision.
Welcome.
Or I guess not. It's only 2 hours. Dynamite tends to go a little long, so I guess I'm not surprised about Dynamite. I guess I was a little surprised about Collision, but I guess it is like strictly 2 hours.
Mhm.
So that's a little surprising, a little disappointing.
That's right. And I was going to say, for this main point right here, the women's matches are usually
Yes.
phenomenal,
Mhm.
right? But I also feel like they have that pressure where they have to be, because that's the only way you prove you get more time, right? Even though you
Yes.
still don't apparently get more time. But their matches are fantastic. I don't know how many times I saw Bailey and Lyra kill it. And Lyra and Becky killed it. Like, I was just like,
Yes.
how are you doing this? But then we only get one match. And lately, we had that whole Raw where there was no women's matches. Just valeting here, there, or anywhere in the back.
And just before a major PLE.
That's right.
And that PLE's card was abysmal as well, with women's one match on night 2. I think, there was the women had a fraction of the matches as the men, which, then speaking of Evolution, I was thinking about this earlier. We had an Evolution last year. The benefit was dividends, right? Especially with Naomi, which, I couldn't have loved that for her more. They don't have that as a crutch this year to lean on when you look at the PLE cards having, just scraps of women's matches and with down. I could see in some twisted worlds justifying that, saying, oh, well, Evolution is all women, PLE, that's a ton of screen time, like that offsets it. They can't even use that this year as like a garbagey excuse for it. So it's like, I think they have even more to answer for this year, because no Evolution and your booking, especially for PLEs, is embarrassing.
Right.
Well,
right.
And I think what happened is we had the most outstanding moments last year were all held by women.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. All of the top matches, the top moments were all held by women. And when you saw how amazing, Naomi she carried the year. It was the year of Naomi. And then that daggone Jimmy, Heel of the Year award.
And chilling, you know what I'm saying?
That man. But so we had all these incredible moments, but shortly after that, when everything started changing and we lost a lot of our major players, they put all the women in tags. And so we had this year of women talent, and it's almost like they said, okay, we got to pull them back and put them here in this box because they outshined everybody last year. We can't do that again. And with our mids, if you think about it, they were developing mid cards last year. That's why we're seeing Lyra. That's why we're seeing more of some of the mids where Chelsea was, where Lyra was. We're seeing them elevated, but again, they're not getting the time because they don't want to have to give as much time to the women as they did last year, because they had no choice last year, because we were eating and consuming and drinking everything they gave us. And the women, to your point, Kiara, you're so right. They said, we are going to dominate this year. And so they've said, okay, we need to put them back in a box right here. They need to be what we expect them to be and not what the fans want. So they've taken all the time that they had no choice to give us last year, and they've taken it all back by putting them all together in tags and factions, because they can put 10 women on the screen at the same time and say, we gave them all time. Where last year we had tons of singles matches, triple threat matches, things that made sense for storylines, that now all those people that were individuals are either off the roster right now because they're gone for health or for injury or having families, or they're in factions and tags so they can put everybody together. The only real singles things we have going, and Candace, you said this in the green room, are Jade and Charlotte on the blue brand. And we've got what's essentially is a faction, whether it's not a faction, is everything going on with Judgment Day versus Becky versus Stephanie, because they're kind of playing with that as well.
Mhm.
So we don't have really any solid singles matches for women right now.
Nope.
Everything they built last year, they intentionally took away and said, okay, we got to box it back up. That
That's
makes no sense.
blowing my mind. That's why my jaw was down when you were saying that, because all I'm thinking as you're describing that, I'm thinking Io Sky at Survivor Series last year. That was the best moment of the entire PLE, and that's just one example. And I don't even want to think about the reality of a purposeful pushing that aside in the next year because of outshining the men. That is so sad, and I really hope that's not true, but kind of just blew my
point, Skinner, what are they doing with Io? They're plugging her in and throwing a chart, and they're just she cooked all year last year.
Mm-hmm.
She was part of the biggest match of the year. Rhea, Io, and then Naomi, and the cash in, and the greatest moments of the entire year, hands down. No one else was even close.
Nope.
And now she's filling in.
Right.
They're literally filling her in little gaps.
Yeah, she was there because Saul Ruka needed somebody of all things.
Yes,
that's right.
That's wild.
And they didn't even bill her.
Yeah,
right.
They didn't even bill her.
Yeah, she was mystery. That's right.
That's right.
So think about that.
Laziness, but I feel like it's. I mean, I feel like it's being lazy. I feel like
it is.
I feel like what's happening with the women. I mean, I think the same thing's happening with the men. They're getting more time, but it's happening with both genders. Unfortunately, we see it with the women. They're getting less time, so I guess it's more prevalent.
Yes.
But I feel like the WWE, to me, it seems like they're going with what's easy. Trick Williams, like he made it. Like he's over. He's out there. Same thing with Ova. And so I feel like sometimes with the WWE, it's your, I don't know what they're saying, top guys, top girls. That's the phrase that they're throwing around. I feel like it's your top people or who are your favorites, and then it's everybody else. And it doesn't seem like there's any energy or effort into really creating stars. Like you wield the pen, like you write the stories, you book them. Yeah, Chelsea got over, like she became beloved by the fans. So she kind of got herself over. And I mean, I guess you could argue the same thing about LA Knight. But I think
not to the same effort, not to the same results.
There might be something going on backstage, apparently, that's what the rumors are. But yeah, it's just, to me, it just seems like it's just overall like laziness. And I mean, I think I brought it up previously, but like Triple H is like, you got to get yourself over. You got to get yourself over. I mean, there's only so much you can do. I mean, you could plank for 6 months, and I guess you can get yourself over by planking for 6 months. I mean, there's just only so much you can do. Like, there's only so much that Candace can do to get herself over. Like, you know, I don't know. So I think a lot of it's just it's like laziness. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question, Candace?
Sure.
Can I ask to go with that laziness? Do you think it's also could be an age problem? And I've said this before with the guys that the average male talent right now is 45 years old. So we have men that are wrestling right now that 10 and 15 years ago would have been retired. So the bulk of our TV time, and I'm sure, Carrie, if you did a deep dive, you would see that more than 60%, 70% of the time is given to the guys that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, because I know we go way back, right? I mean, I'm Ricky Steamboating. I'm way back, right?
I was around during that. I was here.
That would have been retired by now, or taken a creative role, or taking a mentor role, that are still headlining. So they're going to give a Randy Orton, they're going to give a CM Punk, they're going to give a Roman Reigns who's literally carrying the face, right? they're going to give them all the TV time because they're selling the merchandise. They are selling the seats. They're putting butts in seats, but they're giving so much time to people that would have been in previous times of our love of wrestling in different roles, still the TV time. So there's not enough room. And Skinner, you said this in the pre-show that, we're not developing mid-card talent because they don't have enough time to develop mid-card talent, because on a SmackDown that's 2 hours long, there was over an hour given to Cody, Randy, and Punk, Kevin, right? So if that takes almost half the time, how do you get everybody else into the second half of the show? Right. I mean, we've got 7-minute long entrances on a regular weekly show.
That's right. It's insanity.
So we're not building enough in the mids because we have people that probably should be on their way out to give these guys a chance. The Trick Williams. Look at Mello. Mello's incredible.
No, he's another one for October.
We're hiding him.
But
if we're doing that with the men, that gives the women even less time.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Look at you cooking, Stacey. Uh-oh.
Even that. And now my gears are turning now because I'm thinking about it also. Like if this is how things are going on the men's side and the women's side, it's like, okay, I feel like creative at this point is they don't know what to do with themselves, obviously, but I think that they're getting in these traps of falling into what's safe. That's why Randy Orton comes back after 6 months, and Kevin Owens separate because he was injured, but they know that they're going to get those like sustainable pops when those guaranteed like legend stars are still in the mix, even though they don't wrestle frequently at all, age, all that sort of thing. And it's like, okay, you could argue, oh, well, Charlotte's in the mix and Becky's even came back. But even that, his contract was for a very limited time. It was only a handful of matches. I feel like Becky and Seth are never in the same place at the same time anymore, which is really stupid.
Somebody has a baby. They got a kid, so somebody got to be home.
Right. But I don't know. It's just I feel like even when they're kind of leaning into their like tropes and safety nets of like a Randy Orton kind of thing, even if they were going to attempt to do the same thing on the women's roster, which they don't need to do, they still wouldn't give it the same time or attention. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, prove me wrong. Yeah.
But I also think I want to look into that. So let's talk about that age situation. So when women reach a certain age, we start thinking like, if I'm going to have a kid, I need to do it now because tick on the time. And if they're not using me that much, why wouldn't I take this time to do it? Which is what I think has been happening. Because you already know, if you're a female and all your friends having babies, now you're like, oh, that baby cute. Becky brought her baby to work all the time. And suddenly now we're like, maybe we should have a baby. You know what I mean? Because if not, you're just going to be in catering. Like, let's just be honest. You're just going to be in catering anyway. So you might as well fill your time with things that make you happy. That's one way I look at it. The other way I look at it is that we see men in their 40s differently than you see women in their 40s differently. Yeah. And a lot of these women are barely 40. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, y'all not that old. Y'all are not that old. So how is it that suddenly we see older women as they got to go, they got to retire, they got to go do something else? Like, that's insanity. But since we're talking WWE, I figure I'd give y'all more deep dive because there's a lot of stuff that has happened over time with them. So one of the things that you guys have mentioned, the mid-card problem, these quick matches, the amount of time that is going for the big Cody talks, which isn't crazy to me. CM Punk talks, to me to have a whole segment where you're talking for 10 to 15 minutes is insanity. Mm-hmm. Yes. Some of that could be captured for social media instead of making my women tell their stories completely on social media. We saw this happen numerous times, even with Asuka. Like, I was like, her whole story is on Twitter and Instagram and not on the TV. And we didn't see it on the TV either, because then, WWE owns that stuff. So we'll see all that. So to me, there's a huge amount of things that are going into this. So the other thing I want to call attention to is they gutted the mid card.
Yes, they did.
The releases in April of Kari Sane, Nikki Cross, Selena Vega, Alba Fire, Zoe Stark, a bunch of people who were in developmental that we got used to from LFG. A lot of y'all too, even though y'all still on my TV screens. Like, they gutted all of that. And then they took some of the stars from NXT and popped them wherever, much to some success and some failure. So we have this situation where you sent most of the mid-card on their way. You sent your veterans who have been here, who are very secure workers, and you sent them off to the ether. So you're leaving me with newbies and some veterans. And in between that, we got people chilling and catering.
Yep.
We don't have our typical road shows like we used to. So how are you getting the laps in? Which I feel like is leading to a whole bunch of injuries.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
So we're cutting our talent down even further by opening them up for injuries. So it's like, is that worth it? Is it worth, if you're a female talent, do you say, I could wrestle, I might get hurt, I might be in catering for 2 weeks? Have we seen Ivy Nile? You know who I've seen? I've seen Ivy do bodybuilding, but I haven't seen her really on the screen very much.
She's doing the NXT it's the new program. I don't know if they do. It's not the reality show. I should probably know what I'm talking about, but she's doing something with developmental and NXT right now. Let me Google.
Okay. Well, I will tell y'all that on the European tour, she did all the dark matches, because we saw them at Raw in Paris, and she did that show. And I was trying to keep up on all of that, and they had her on the whole European tour, but she was doing all the opening dark matches with all the local talent. So they're working her, like when they were here in Memphis in January, did the same thing. We've seen a Raw or SmackDown 4 times in the last year, and she's been the dark match every single time.
That's crazy.
So she's doing, she's the warm up.
She was at Main Event in Chicago.
Yeah,
Main
Event.
Yep.
It was her versus Lizzie Rain, I believe.
Yes, we have been seeing a lot of NXT talent on Main Event. But did you know that? Like, I happened to watch it last week, and I saw Jada Parker, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. She's here. Losing on Main Event, but here we are. But if I don't watch Main Event, how would I know?
How are they promoting that? How are they publicizing that? Like, I just saw somebody put a comment that Main Event was on today, and there were 3 matches they didn't even air. They cut it off after Julia Meechin, and there were supposed to be 3 other matches afterwards. They didn't even air them.
Listen, this is why it makes no sense. It makes no sense, because you're just leaving crumbs on the table. You're leaving some of your best material on the table. Hey, Tanisha, welcome.
Hi, guys.
So I do want to get back to this. You guys are cooking in the chat. I mean, my goodness. The reason men do that is because history repeats itself. Like, back then, women weren't the focus for pro wrestling. Men were. Fair. But I also think that your audience is not the same as it used to be either. I talk about this a lot. Your demographic for your audience is not the same. And also, women have a lot more buying power than they used to. So you should be appealing to both. All right, we got some more. Let's see. She was on LFG. Thank you. Is that what you meant, Skinner? LFG?
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Ivy is the queen of Main Event right now. She might be. She might be. Maybe she need a belt for Main Event. Like, crazy. She just wrestled PJ Vasa from Evolve. Was that today? I might have to go see that. I didn't know PJ Vasa was on main event. See, that's crazy. Did anybody like? Did y'all know that?
I did. That's just because for some reason I must be following something, but when main event when they air the episodes, they it shows up on my YouTube. So
Ah,
I didn't know that.
I don't really watch YouTube like that. Apparently, I need to. Apparently, I need to subscribe. I think I'm subscribed because I do watch Triple A's, but you would think, and I watch NXT on YouTube, so you would think that. My bad. It was last week. Thanks for confirming. I'm gonna go back and watch it because I didn't know. I've been excited about PJ Vasa. Like I've been excited since I saw her at LFG. P Nasty, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. I'm ready to see her somewhere. Except I'm concerned that when they move her somewhere, this is why I feel for people in NXT, and I'm like, do you really want to get moved up? Like, if I'm Kalani, I'm like, nah, you could just leave me here for a while. Like, I'm gonna just sit here and be comfortable and live.
Right.
But it also starts to look like you've outgrown the program when you've been there that long and you've won a lot of the titles. Like, this is why we're still looking at Jada. This is why we're still looking at Kalani. And we're like, oh, you're still here. And everybody else has moved on, but they're just on sitting and catering. Because I don't know if you remember this, but Kiana had been drafted for like a year and some change, and we didn't see her at all. She was just on the roster. And then when we did see her, she got hurt.
Right.
So I was like, well, that was that. Here we are. Oh, we got some tea in the chat. All right, Russell Faith, what we got going on here? Yeah, we know. They don't need any more titles. They don't use the titles that they currently have.
Right, they
which
don't.
I'm going to get into in just a minute in my breakdown. I've got some more tea for y'all on that. And all right, so is she supposed to be part of the female blood? Is there a female bloodline? Okay, Faith, I need some more information on this one. I don't even know if I want that right now.
I don't.
No.
I think I wanted it before.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want that now.
I wanted it when they was there.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. But now I'm like, I don't know if I want that. That's a fair assessment, though. I would say that's a fair assessment. All right, so let's see what other interesting things we got going on. There was just so many things that happened with WWE. So anyway, I feel like we talked a lot about what's not working. I feel like we have gone over all the problems. Let's talk about some things that we think that we could do to fix it. No more bloodline, respectfully. I know that's right. Listen, I will always appreciate Roman. I'm very confused at what's going on Monday. I was like, everybody gets the fa la la. I don't know what's going on Monday. Jacob's mad. Solo's rebelling. Now we got a civil war. I thought we just got over the last civil war. I just feel like I'm very confused as to where this bloodline is going. And there's no whys, nothing. So there's just calamity waiting to happen. And Paul Heyman out here doing God knows what. I'm not sure. All right, let's talk fixes. So what do you think they could do to fix it? Ooh. So Naomi, okay, well, Tanisha, you might get your wish, ma'am. What's your wish?
I mean, but it's kind of over. It's supposed to happen, a year ago when she was like in her caution era. I mean, I'm not gonna say she's not gonna come back with the caution era, and I'm not gonna like negate that it's not going to probably be amazing, but I don't need it now. Like, only thing I would need is if someone messed with Jimmy and now she wants to like attack, but just to make one, I don't think there's a point. Unless they're just gonna join them together. Like something happens and now we have this huge faction. But I really don't think we need any more factions right now either, because besides the bloodline, there is. Well, okay, let me take it back. I mean, JCJ and Fatal. Yeah, because I want to call him Fatal Attraction all the time.
They're the
You
most
know,
dominant faction in the WWE.
They really are.
All the gold.
They're the most dominant faction.
They are.
right. But I'm saying, like, other than that, like, they're not doing really well storytelling this time around with the factions.
No. I think that if y'all are due, catch our previous episode, I think 2 episodes ago, where I told y'all why I broke down why factions are broken in WWE. Like, you're not a dominant faction if you have 0 titles.
Right.
Factions should be fighting with factions. That's how you do rivalries. So this makes no sense how you just avoid each other. Jade and Fatal Influence should have been fighting.
Right.
BFAB and Michin should have been fighting for the tag team championships.
They don't even have a name. What's their name?
The baddies.
Well, they're just
They're
baddies.
That's
They
their
slapped
official
together.
name.
Yes.
Yeah, the baddies.
No, I don't want that to be their name.
I don't think we got a choice.
So they put no thought into the plot or the name.
What's the show? The baddies in AEW?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So like, let's do something different. Like, they don't even have a name. And to me, they're just like 3 girls hanging out. Like, I don't know.
It seems, on the surface, it seems like they just shoved them together because they ran out of what could BFAB, Michin, and Jade fight about again, and not in a proper match, but in a promo backstage or whatever. It just seems like they didn't know what to do, so they just put them together for the heck of it.
They did.
And that's the
And I
thing.
wanted them together though, but I wanted a story to put them
Right,
together.
and that was what was missing, honestly.
And I
Because I was
don't
like,
think
there could have been a
it's
good
too late to
story. Go ahead,
do
Candace.
that though.
No,
I think that
you
you
could have
could
been
do that.
done that. Right.
Right. They could have given them a name too, like a real name.
Well, and I'm sure for Michin and BFAB, they were thankful for the faction because, as you said earlier, Kara, the reality is they cleaned out the women's division after WrestleMania. So I'm sure they were like, I don't want to be the SmackDown cleanup. I'll absolutely go into this faction with a powerhouse.
I've been saying this forever. Diversity in the writer's room would fix this.
Yes.
It would fix this. So when I say
Yes.
fix it, I think Candace, that's one way you could fix some of this is the storytelling, right? You don't need all the TV time to tell the story. Put some vignettes together. I got vignettes for 400 other things. Give me a vignette to tell me why the baddies and Jade are together and what they're doing. Because if I'm Jade, I'm firing them. Because they're not doing nothing to help me win. So I'm firing them. So that is not a faction to me. And the crazy part is they could be such a dominant faction.
Yes.
But you're not giving enough to make them seem domineering, which is crazy. But we got Fatal Influence. They just got here. You know what I'm saying? And I love y'all, so I don't want no hate over here. But they just got here. And suddenly we making them to be feared?
Yes.
I'm not scared, y'all. What? Now Jade
It makes the titles lose credibility when they do stuff like that.
It's like, what's the point? What's the point? And then if you look, the crazy part is a lot of these stories are so easy to write. Okay. I'm like, we don't need a 3-on-3 with Charlotte and Alexa and Tatum against Jade and the baddies. Like, now we made you an unofficial faction. Why for? If you wanted to bring Tatum up, you could have been brought Tatum up. Her and Alexa would make a great tag team. Not even going
amazing.
That would be a great tag team because she's a little weird, she's a little dark. She brought Lily back. I feel like we would have a good mix here with those two. Let Charlotte go. Let her be free.
Yes.
She can still be an ally, but let her go be free.
Yeah,
but I
she
had
wants
this
to make
problem
it.
even when they did that with Rhea and Io. I was like, you just keep throwing people into these tag teams because you don't want to tell individual stories.
Right.
So here's my suggestion. You need a writing team for each title.
Yes.
There should be like little groups who have their people. These are my people. These are your people. Y'all create the stories, and then you have your major meeting where you put it all together on the board. And then you get to decide, like, here's my story for this person. because Jade could have been had. I mean, she could have had a crazy, amazing story. But her and Charlotte, that has been building forever.
Yes.
So I was like, this could have been like a real serious rivalry. Why doesn't Charlotte have a title? Give her one of the US title and then let them fight over that. Because that would make sense. Because right now you just don't like her and you don't like her, which is cool, except that like that's not the caliber of this type of feud. Why would I want it to keep going? Why would you want it to keep going? Because if you're building to like a Hell in a Cell or something, that would make sense. But you got to give them something worth fighting over. And you're not. Now you got JC Jane with the title. Why? Why for? Why does she need that title? And this is not to say that she's not talented, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it does not make sense for her to have that title right now. So it's like, if they actually thought out this group and picked, like, you should have stories for each of the championships. And if you cannot have a story for it, you should not have it, because it should not just be sitting there undefended. Because that's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like we have one title that has never, ever been defended on a PLE. Like, what? Ever. And we have a Night of the Champions. What?
2 title defenses. That was it.
How? How does that even happen? And I think when you talk about Triple H and his, his thoughts getting over, then y'all need to get over with the writing too, because that's not getting me over anything except frustration. There was so much elevation to do with these women because they are very talented. And you put this pipeline together and you've been churning it from NXT. You've been putting up star after star after star, and you put them in a holding cell. That's what you do. Pop you over into the main roster, into a holding cell where you sit in catering until they feel like they figure out they have a story. So back to what they said, like Stephanie and Undertaker wrote that paper, probably why it was great. Also, I know Stephanie might not want to do that, but if she could put together a writing team, that might be worth it too. I just feel like if you don't want to do it, maybe you just oversee that piece and that you have other people do it.
Right.
But you need a writing team focused on women's feuds, matches, characters. You need that. I do think they also need it for the men, to be fair. I feel like that's an opportunity problem. But for women in particular, since we're not even getting the screen time, and the fact that you have these people who are so skilled at social media that they could be blowing social media with these stories.
Yes.
Because we saw what Becky did. Like, don't let Becky loose on social, okay? Because I don't want to feud. I would be like, I'm not fighting with you, because I'm not arguing with you on my Twitter. I'm gonna have to hire somebody because I don't got time.
And also to have storylines with a real payoff. I think that's probably one of my biggest disappointments. I mean, I don't want to focus just on WWE, but I mean, that's the mountaintop, right? Like, that's where you want to go. Like, they're the pinnacle, they're the top, so they should be the best. But I think one of my biggest issues is that we had feuds that had no real payoff. Like I said, I'm never going to forgive them for the Kyrie.
Right.
Never going to forgive them for that.
They ruined that. And it could have been so we were waiting.
That could have been
for that.
Payoff for the fans, and also payoff for her. Payoff for her, because she was getting over, so to speak, but also a payoff for her, because I feel like you not only do you, in order for the fans to buy in, the performer has to buy in too. And I feel like she really was buying in, and it was like, we're getting there, we're getting there, we're getting there.
She about to turn, and then they cut her.
Really.
Right.
Same thing with Natty. Like, we finally got Natty. Like, Natty versus Max.
We were waiting. We got Natty. Like, what happened? Now she's on NXT, and which, like, look, as a performer, like, you get in where you fit in. So, like, wherever, like, if I'm gonna get my TV time, like, I want to be my contract, I need to be on TV. But that was something else. I think I mentioned before, Lyra and Bailey. Like, these two have been like friends for like over a year. They've been chasing tag team titles, and like now, so if Bailey wants to be all in, all out, walking through a forbidden door in her full gear, fine. If she's ready to go, then go. Listen, I was like, that crazy was contagious, apparently, because it started with Bailey, and now Lyra got the crazy. Except Lyra's crazy is more like crackhead crazy. It's not like
Yeah.
Bailey's crazy was like bipolar crazy. So I feel like there was some different, But I was like, I didn't really understand how both y'all have that storyline. Like, if you're watching, the continuity is wild, right? You're like, wasn't Bailey crazy?
Yes.
But wait, now you crazy? But you're crazy different. Like,
and it was like descent. Like, it wasn't like you saw Lyra getting like increasingly like angry and furious. Like, there was no like, it was just like, or not even like she snapped, like I snapped, I'm so angry. It was like I snapped and like now I don't wash my face and I got like holy, like that. It didn't make sense to me, but like you do what you can. And I think she's been doing her best, like some no smoke for her. I think she's been doing her best, but like even with that feud, I'm just like, well, what's the payoff there? And so I think that that's one of the things. I want to see quality feuds with a real payoff, not only for the performer, but also for the fans. That is what I want, because I have been disappointed this year.
And to your point, Candace, why is she going to complain about that? Because she's getting TV time.
Right.
Even if she hates the character she's stuck in right now, she's like, I could either like who I am and sit in catering or have them totally make me into such a strange character that has little payoff or buy-in, because at least I'm getting to be seen every week.
That's right.
And that's a sad trade-off when you're putting in the work to build who you are and build your character, for them to say, okay, plot twist, we're going to change you and you're going to crash out and do this. Okay, but why? That doesn't matter.
And I was like,
it doesn't matter because you get TV time.
This is where she could have used social media to help build that, right? Like, yes, we could have had moments where she was just looking off in the distance, or like Bailey's, because I was like, Bailey did seem more interested than she did, but it did not show that level of frustration from her. If anything, Bailey was the one frustrated. So I was very confused. So when I knew she was going to turn, because after a wrestling fan, you figure it out, but I just didn't get it. I was like, I'm pretty sure she's about to turn, but I don't understand. Right. And her explanation makes no sense. But then you don't use her. That even makes it less like, how am I going to attach myself to this character, buy her merch, be into it, be watching everywhere she is, when you don't buy into her character? Right. I can't believe that you don't believe that.
Right. I think, like, in terms of like what could do better, I kind of like about like Nat, for example, and how they're currently utilizing her in NXT. Seems weird because she's been on the main roster for going on 20 years or whatever it is, and it seems like out of place, like, even though she was developing this other character. And like, I would almost use the comparison of, they kind of missed the mark with Natty on NXT and trying to like capitalize on that. Meanwhile, one that they kind of put back down to NXT who didn't miss the mark is Grayson Waller, because
100%.
that was more appropriate. And I think that the thing with WWE now is that they have all of these brands now, and Lord knows they are trying to cross promote like nobody's business, which good on you, because all it's going to do is try to, get you more money, get your talent more screen time. Like, that makes total sense. But I feel like every time they do that, again, when the women's division comes into it, it's an afterthought. Like, even on AAA, they push Bailey for 2 matches in a promo, and then Natty for 1, I think. But then those storylines disappeared. Meanwhile, I think that Ethan Page continued to benefit from that push that he got from AAA with Chelsea Green.
Well, so Chelsea did too, because she had that everywhere. Okay, Chelsea Bills, I'm here. I'm like, ow. Ow.
Yeah. And like we see AAA, they're really pushing AAA right now on, the main roster and then NXT as well. And I have absolutely no problem with that. But I mean, we're not even seeing Las Toxicas on either of the other 2 brands, let alone
Can we bring them over?
That's what I'm saying. Like, any female wrestlers from AAA,
can we bring them over? Because they're amazing.
Yeah,
they have.
I'm sure they don't want to come over. They don't want to come over. They're not going to get TV time.
I know they're gonna be sitting in catering. I know that's right. They
Yeah.
probably just want to stay with the Undertaker. I feel you. Like I would too. I would too. I feel like don't ask me to travel. I'm gonna stay here. I think you had a lot of points there that really resonated with me. And one of the issues we've had with Natty and NXT is we wanted that character, right? We saw what she was doing in Bloodsport. We saw her hanging out in NWA. I was like, girl, what's happening? Is she bringing that? Can she bring that same smoke? Can she become a champion again? I need it. And then you put her with these random chicks. I guess they're groupies in NXT and Evolve with Nikita Lyons and Carmen Petrov, something. I don't remember her name right now. I'm sorry, but Carmen, girl, you and a sword. I'm not gonna forget you, but I can't remember your last name. But they put them together as like they were groupies almost, and then suddenly she's in a feud with Jada that we just don't understand.
Right.
Whereas Tanisha actually had a really good story for this because of that picture that went viral with her visiting the dungeon with Jay Uso and the kitty emoji. Like that could have been a fire story because we all knew it. And he already, by the way, filed for divorce. So, and they've traveled together. So we might as well make light of it. Wait, right? So I was like, she could have been like alluding to this. Why I don't F with you. But to me, they made her character soft and whiny. And I was like, that's not her. Why is she friends with Thea? Like, I like Thea. But why? That's not Jada. Jada doesn't want to be your friend. She wants to be friends with other people with bad attitudes. Like her and Callie should be friends. They should beat each other up and have a mutual respect. But her and like, why are you friendly? Take it back. Throw it away.
Right.
Like, throw it away. All right.
Make it make sense.
And even to the beginning of that, when we finally got Natty on the main brand, it should have worked. But why it wouldn't work is because there was no other woman on the red brand that was going to take a pin to Natty except for Maxine.
Which is stupid.
So Maxine's not, they gave her a title for 10 minutes, essentially. And they've relegated her to not even a mid card. You can't
She's
let
a valet
Natty
now
cook.
for the division.
Correct. So you can't let Natty cook against a valet
Nope.
and not put her against somebody that has more relevance on the red brand. So you finally give us the turn, and then you have to pull her because there's nobody on the red brand that's going to feud with her and take a pin.
Yeah.
But that's something that we have an issue with a lot, is that once you get to a bigger spot, they don't want to see the lights.
I have a
So
question.
how do you elevate mid cards if the people in the main brands and in the top spots don't want to see the lights, don't want to take the pin? How do you get somebody over?
But everyone's taking pins. That's the crazy part. Everybody's taking pins.
That's
Go
what I
ahead,
was trying to question. I was like, nobody wanted to take a, because I feel like Natty is so so highly respected. So I don't understand what would be the problem with taking a pin. I mean,
So who's the
relegated
face
to-
on the red brand that they could have put her with that it was a relevant beef? Like
they could have put her with like, I mean, she was around for a lot of stuff. So they could have been fighting her with, I was like, I thought that she would have done a great feud with Bailey over like the US title or one of those titles, like one of the mid-card titles. I was like, I think that would be a really good feud because I was like, when's the last time I feel like their skills match each other.
Yes.
I feel like they could have had a really like serious feud. You would have had to put a little thought into why they're fighting, right?
Yes.
But you could have just planted the seeds. So maybe, easily while Bailey's out here doing whatever with Lyra, Natty's in the back talking smack, like, I don't even know why you're hanging out with her. Like,
Right.
I don't even know why you're doing this. Like, you're lowering yourself to Lyra. Like, they could have been planting the seeds for this for such a long time that would have been a feud. But instead, you don't know what to do with people. But we got time for you to spend a whole 10 minutes talking. Like, respectfully, I love Roman.
Right.
Talk to me anytime. But I'm just saying, like, we don't need a whole segment of LA Knight in them. We don't need that. We don't need
Right.
That could have been a photo on social media. Release.
But that would take vision and forethought.
Yes.
And that's not what they want to put into the women's division for a character that we've been waiting for.
Talk about it. Speaking of which, I think it's time to move to NXT. That's another All right, I'm not gonna hold you. We know that NXT is the gold standard based on all the stats I gave you guys and the charts and all of that. We know they're doing amazing work. We have multiple women's storylines running each week, whether they are good or not. They are running. If you watched the recent episode, you was following all sorts of stuff. We was following um, Jada and Thea and Natty and Carmen and Nikita and them, and then we was finding Callie and Rank QCC. Who else was in that match? Somebody else. I can't remember. Thank you, Kendall. Well, I said Rank. Yeah, both of them. But we were following like.
I mean, not Kendall. What was her name? I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry. What's her name? Jeez. It's not Kendall. My brain. It's Kaylani. Sorry. Kaylani.
Again. And that's the other piece I have with. She's been there so long that everything it feels like she's almost regressing because she's been there so long. And she's already got this character over. So I don't want her to move, but I don't know what to do with her. So it becomes like, what do you do with her? And one of the things I think they're doing is they're sending these like testing talents to TNA. We'll get to that and why that's a hot mess. But overall, I do feel like NXT is doing a lot of great work with women. And one of the things I think that would benefit the main roster is to switch writers or just have them cycle in and out to see like, how is Shawn Michaels able to keep this going on his show? Mm-hmm. And his show is like on CW, got a lot of hella commercials, but his show is good. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't like to miss NXT. Like, I was like, this week especially was fire, Mr. Nympho baby. Like, this week was great.
Do you think?
But I felt like it was balanced. Go ahead.
Do you think it's because I'm trying to find the right words? I'm not gonna say NXT doesn't have much to lose, but I feel like they're not as beholden maybe to shareholders. I mean, because my brother had mentioned something, he was like, Triple H was in charge of NXT as well, and he was cooking when they were down there. So it's not like this is a guy that is a bad booker. He's not. So,
and they had women's stories when he was there too.
Right. And so like, it's like, what is it? Like, what's happening now? Is it like the sponsor? I don't know, but
maybe the stockholders and all of this KO of it all. Like, maybe that's one of the reasons that we're not getting a lot of it. But I also feel like women's matches paid off in the long run, so why would that be a issue?
It's like you make them the forefront when it's convenient, like when it's an all-woman PLE. Mm-hmm. But it's like, why does it have to be an all-woman show? Like, you can just like make it a little bit more balanced. So
yeah, I agree. Well, the one problem. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, let's go ahead.
Well, the one thing I will say about NXT that they need to figure out is this roster call-up cycle. It's hard with them. Like, I was like, I'm just picking at Strongest ultimately because I do think they are doing a really great job and the best in the bunch. But the call-ups are strange. Suddenly, you just disappear.
Disappear.
Tatum was out here having fun with Shiloh, and he brought her so what her snack, and suddenly she was that was a funny promo. She was just gone. He had to carry on alone. But I felt like that was a story that was building, and I would have liked her to stay to continue that story because they could have become the next like Index, right? Like, who knows? I was like, they look a little flirty. We'll see how this goes. I love it. Two strange people together, beautiful. But then like she's just gone. Yeah. But now we got Lola, who should have been gone because she was already doing AAA. So Lola should have been gone, but she was here. It's just a very strange call-up cycle. And I know they probably don't have control over that, right? Like, I'm pretty sure it's like, hey, I'm going to need you to give me these people because we're using them in creative. If there's that much foresight. Because I think a lot of it was understanding the injuries and all the stuff. There was just holes in the canvas that it needed to fill. But could you not have picked other people who did? Like, there's some people who need to leave. And there's some people who could have stayed. Like I think Izzy Dane is in that spot right now where she hasn't quite found her niche. And I feel like they took Jada away from hers. So now she got to go backwards in order to be ready. So it's like after a certain point, you start to regress. So what do we do here? How do we fix that piece of it? Because I do feel like the stories are great. I feel like we have such a Carmen Petrovich. Thank you. I see you out there helping. I see you. I don't want you to feel like I'm ignoring you. I see you. Okay. But they like I feel like that is one of the issues that is huge for them. So what could they do better?
I think that they could do better, and they're already doing it in some spots. Like we talked about Natty going back, right? We talked about Grayson Waller. They could do a better job of, if they're going to bring somebody up, let them shop for a minute, right? They can dabble, or somebody can go back into NXT to start the beef, to start the feud, to start the process. So that way, when they do show up on a blue or a red brand, there's already a little bit of history. Because you guys were talking about something that they said something in Unreal this time or the time before that makes sense on why there's such a disconnect between NXT and the blue and red brands. Because Shawn Michaels and team develop amazing talent in NXT. The writers on the red and blue brands don't watch NXT.
That's crazy.
So when they said that, I was like, wait, what? You don't watch your talent? So you have, in baseball, you have minor leagues, and all of your recruits, all your scouts go watch the minor leagues to pick them up to bring them to the major leagues, but we don't do that in wrestling? That doesn't make sense. So when they come up, if they don't already have such a huge established brand, and Opa's a great example. Opa was established in NXT. So they couldn't change who he was when they brought him to the main brand. But there are a lot of people, and especially in the women's division, they don't know who they are. So they don't bring someone down to start a feud or dabble them up to start a feud, so that when they come to the main brands, it makes sense. And then the writers don't know who they are. So they come up and they lose. They lose who they are. And Julia's a great example of that. I mean, everybody that loves Julia says who she was and who we fell in love with is not who they're giving us now.
Right.
Because the writers don't know what she's capable of. So they brought her up to fill a hole because of injury, because of people leaving, but they didn't say, okay, what's she capable of? What's her niche? What makes her so beloved? We're just going to throw her in and see what happens. And that's why she's lost, because they don't know the talent they have. So they don't write to the talent. They don't develop the feuds to the talent. So then everything that all of these amazing talented wrestlers work so hard to achieve in NXT is lost in the translation.
I did not know that. That's insane.
An officer should know that.
Yeah, they don't. And then also Nick Khan said right after WrestleMania this year, he has his hand in every decision made in the red and the blue brands. So he's already said when it comes to AAA, when it comes to NXT, he's a hands-off guy. So he also doesn't know his talent. So when they come up, you've got all of these people sitting around a table that have all of the decision-making powers with none of the education on the gold mine they have.
That's
and
crazy.
Then to Skinner's point and to Candace's point earlier, when we're not building mid-cards because we don't know who they are, they're going to sit in the back. So, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but like I'm getting my master's degree. I had to get my bachelor's degree before I could start my master's. So we've got people sitting at a table trying to do master's work, and they don't have their bachelor's degree to do it.
That's crazy. I got one fix. Make it required watching. Because let me tell you something.
Right.
Back when I worked for Blockbuster, yes, I'm that old. They made us watch movies so that we could tell our customers what was good and what was bad and why we liked it, and we could relate to them. So they required us, like that was part of your job description, to take out movies every week so that you could talk about them. So to me, that is the most insane thing I have ever heard. But it speaks to exactly what's wrong. That speaks to exactly, because you don't know what makes them special. And I feel like With Oba and with Trick even more so. He got to go to TNA. But so did Kalani. And you still haven't figured her out? Like, I would hate for her to be on the cut sheet because y'all haven't figured her out, which is what I feel like happens, is they don't know what to do with you.
Right.
And so you get cut instead of really thinking through, like, I have this character, here's how I can use this character, here's how I can build this character. Because again, like I said, I feel like Tatum could have stayed because her and Shiloh were building something. And her and Izzy, I'm not sure that feud was done for me. I felt like they could have kept going for a little bit there because it was, they had some great matches.
So I have a theory on that. Can I share my theory on why they brought Tatum up?
Mm-hmm.
So you've seen Charlotte came back, Alexa came back, they brought them together.
Yes.
And Charlotte was hated, right? She was hated for so long. They could not do anything to get her over as a face. You put her with Alexa Bliss, and now we're seeing a side of Charlotte that they've never allowed us to see before. She's beloved. We're seeing a softer side. We're seeing a caring side, and fans love her now, right? She's not booed anymore. She's cheered. So how do you break the two of them up? Because if they're not a tag team anymore, somebody's going to have to be a heel, and there's no way Alexa Bliss is a heel, right? Because we've got the Bray Wyatt connection. We've got everything from the history. If they break them up, you've got to put a heel, and I don't think Charlotte wants to be a heel again. So the best way to do this now, respectfully, so they can still be seen adjacent but not together, is you bring a Tatum up. And you mentioned this earlier, Kara. We can have a Tatum Alexa go for the tags. We can have them do some tag matches where the two of them start aligning, where they can quietly remove Charlotte from it so she can really go hard with Jade. So they can be friendly without being connected. And Tatum is the only one that logically that could have done that transition to keep Charlotte a face, to keep Alexa a face, but allow them to separate where it's clean and positive. And so I think that's why they brought Tatum up, because we're going to start seeing the transition away from the we're not friends theory. So Charlotte can start standing on her own again in the role of a face.
I think that's a good theory.
Makes a lot of sense.
I don't want it though. I'll tell you why. I love me a bad queen. Okay, I want her in the black. I want her, like, she talked about it, I think in Unreal or some interview, that she had like the black hair and the black like queen attire. That's what I want. I want the Queen of Hearts. I want the villain Charlotte back. Now I understand that's gonna be a little hard with Jake. You know what I'm saying? I understand it's a little hard because Jake can go either way depending on where you go, right? And her and the baddies, it's a very complicated thing here with their story.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be, but it is. And so, but I feel like when they brought Tatum, I was looking at this last week and I was like, Charlotte was like, are you kidding? We don't have to be friends with everybody. And I said, girl, I remember being that girl in high school. Like, nah, we don't gotta be friends with everyone. Everyone doesn't need to be part of the club. Okay? Like we could just be associates. But I was hoping that that was the shift, right? That this was the shift of Charlotte to start to feel jealous a little bit of Tatum and Alexa's relationship and start to like push them away. I would rather it be done brutally, but I understand. Like I understand that she finally feels loved and accepted and respectfully. Fine, I understand. But I like me a bad Charlotte, okay? Because her and Tiffany, I was rolling. Yep. Give me that sharp-tongued Charlotte who is gonna come for the jugular and will mean it and will mean everything she's saying. Because I want her and Jade going to war on the microphone.
Yes.
Like I want y'all both to get to the place where it's not confusing. Because right now it feels like since she's been in a tag team, like the chemistry with her and Jade was so off in their last match. And I was like, is it because you're not used to doing this all the time? Is it because you're not used to doing this together? Like something did not work. But it needs to, because those two have enough heat between them to turn this into a really magical feud, I feel like. So I'm just like, I would just prefer it to be brutal. I hold you. I want me a bad queen. Please, thank you. I love me a bad Charlotte. What's wrong with y'all? Show the
And
woman
they
some
still leave
respect.
that door open. That still leaves the door open that they can come back to that. But I think after the article that Charlotte wrote last year about her brother and all the vulnerability she had and felt something that she hadn't felt since she's really been Charlotte Flair, she felt something she doesn't have, and that was love and a sense of respect, not as the Nepo or the nympho baby, right? And so I think she's going to ride that wave as long as she can.
Fair.
And when she's ready, she'll go back to hardcore, which we'll be ready for.
I'm just ready now.
I see Tiffany turning heel before I see Charlotte turning heel.
Tiffany just became a baby face again. Like Tiffany's they turned her into a baby face because the fans decided she was a baby face in Europe, right? That's how she ended up being a baby face. And
compared to Charlotte, it's like, yeah, we gonna cheer Tiffany.
I'm like, what? Listen here. She's a heel. Let her be a heel. Like, this is my problem with y'all. Figure out your heels and your baby faces and stop, like, if you tell the story properly, we will feel for them properly. But if you do not tell all the story beats, it's hard. Like, again, it was hard for me to understand Lyra because I don't got the story beats to tell me, like, she was feeling some kind of way. I don't get to identify with her. I don't get to feel what she's feeling. Same thing with this Jada and Natty thing. Like, is she just being mean to you by calling you soft? Or is she, like, that's not a valid fight, in my opinion. Right. Like, someone calls you soft, you're like, I'm not soft, whatever, right? Like, that ain't how that works. And I was like, if you put the right chick in the writing room, it would have got real ugly, real fast.
Real fast.
Because that's how it went with Kalani and Jada. Like, that was a fire feud. They was fighting in the car. Jada was throwing stuff at the car, like, outside the PC. Like, what's it saying? Cruz said, Montana Cruz said, he said that is the most dangerous parking lot in Hope. Do not get caught in the NXT parking lot. But I'm like, if they had told that story, then we could have got there. So that is also kind of like my one beef. It's like, don't sacrifice the story because you just feel like you got to bring somebody there. Because Natty, even her groupies didn't make sense from Evolve. Like, I was like, why are you groupies? Did you decide to go to the, like, dungeon? Shouldn't there be trails of that somewhere? Where y'all in a dungeon and y'all eating out and y'all taking pictures? Like, you were on Total Divas. Figure it out. Stage it up. Like,
right.
Y'all could be on TikToks. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but you didn't give me all the beats, so I couldn't feel the story. That's my problem.
And didn't Shawn Michaels just say this a month ago? Because he's my like it. He said, you cannot be a wrestler now and not be able to do promo and social media work. Mm-hmm. You cannot go over. Why wouldn't we utilize, like, KO, his car diaries and the beatdown that he gave Cody the first time next to the bus, right? We know those were intentional, but that's what got us invested. Why aren't we seeing most of that? And let's talk about the fact that we had an entire year of a beef between CM Punk and Drew, and they didn't put their hands on each other for an entire year, and we were fully invested, and it was all promo and social media work.
That was funny.
Why are they not giving master classes?
I think that they're expecting the talent to know how to do it on their own, which is not a... I'm like, if WWE is going to give you, like, handlers and support for things, give you support for that. Like, or you can find you some support. Hire you a social media manager. I am available. Pin to perfection. I do all of that.
I believe they used to do promo classes because the Miz talked about it.
They did. But I think when it comes to social media, that's a different level. And I think Becky could be. You saw what Becky did on her social media, like, what she did to what's her name, Ronda Rousey and Charlotte. But that was insanity. Like, Becky can go too far on her socials, so I feel like she would be a good person to show you how to do that. But also, I feel like some of it, think in character, right? Drew's board at work was fire. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
I was like, can I get this t-shirt? I want to be bored at work too. Because it was funny and it was engaging. It was something we all kind of did. But I also feel like even with Natty, and somebody just said this and I popped it up, it does feel prepared.
Yeah.
I always tell people, like, when I'm coaching them, listen, do not do it so many times that it starts to come out your mouth like an actor. Do it once, do it twice, and stop it. I was like, don't do it. Don't learn every word. Don't do none of that. Make it feel like you, and then say it. Because that's what feels natural. Because we all know the writers be saying stuff you would never say. And we know. Because when you're in front of the mic, you're like, what did I just? You could just see in their face. Like, I can't believe I just said that.
Right.
So I'm like, there are things that they could do. Becky Trump is fantastic on social media. Yes, she is. Okay. I say she learned from the best.
Oh my gosh.
That's all I'm saying.
And it's not just me saying it.
You know what I'm saying?
In there. Yeah.
I love it. I tell people that too. I'm like, it's not just me. They're like, like, it's funny. All right, time to talk AEW Dynamite and Collision. Now, funny enough, like I said, in the previous chart, I showed you that they actually have the lowest numbers supporting their women's division. However, they're known for this like world-class talent pool, right? Like we have Mercedes, we had Toni Storm, we got Tekla killing the game, we got Willow and Maya. Like they're raising up people. However, they're also losing people that we don't hear from, we don't see from Britt Baker, wherever you are, and they just pretend they don't exist. So there is a bit of a situation here where these matches, they get a big focus if you are a big celebrity outside of AEW, which is literally you were built outside of AEW. Mm-hmm. But for the people who are built in AEW, it poses its own challenges. So I love to just spend some time chatting about that because they do a lot of 4 tags. They do a lot of like matches and stuff like that. And even their rivalries, the ones with Chris Statlander, I would say are the struggle bus. I would say they are a struggle bus. I was like, aren't you supposed to be the galaxy's greatest? What happened to her? Where's she been? Anyway, I know not everybody watches AEW, so.
I would say took some time with Willow to kind of, Willow's been in AEW for a little bit. It took her time to sort of to get there. I'm not sure what it is with AEW. You do tend to see, I take that back. I was gonna say you tend to see the same faces, but I would say maybe lately you're seeing different faces. So
they are mixing up their pipeline. I will say, I'm a huge Persephone fan.
Me too.
Her and Maya. I said, "Oh, she hit her so hard." I really was sitting there like I was screaming. My husband's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Ah!" He's like, "What's happening?" I was like, "Did she knock that girl out with her knee?" I'm trying to tell you, it was very hard hitting, and that is one of the things I do love about AEW is they feel real. Like it feels like you in a fight. Like you heard, we saw what happened to Darby, probably in the hospital for the 45th time, but it feels hard and real, and I do love that they do that. Because they even got Mercedes in on it, like when they were in that cage, and I was like, "Homegirl said I'm not bleeding, but you other people can." But Tony really, again, these are people who were built outside the company, and they're headlining a lot of their matches. But then the other part of the women's division gets forgotten. But I will say, I do think they're doing better. However, I still don't think the matches are happening as frequently, as many as we would need, because they go over more often than not. So why can't we have more women's matches to help cement that and to help us track the rivalries? Because I will tell you, like the Death Riders, I could track them everywhere. I know exactly what's happening. I know Marina's gonna be scary and she's gonna be a problem no matter what you do. She's just gonna be out there and you will get hurt. So you better not touch her. Matter of fact, you better not be look at her.
Yeah, and that's why I was talking about like having storylines that are not tied to a title. I feel like there's a little bit more freedom. It's a little bit more fun. I enjoyed the Marina versus Tony. I enjoyed that. No feud. Well, I guess
they were feuding over Homegirl, Mina.
Oh, right, Mina. And I guess who is that? Yuta. He lost his hair, so
he did lose his hair.
But yeah. I would like to see like Red Velvet, like people who've been like kind of stuck in ROH for a while, and you kind of see like little
like Athena.
Athena. Yep.
The
Forever
forever
champion.
champion we never see that one.
So
She
yeah,
should be
I
a
mean,
big deal on the main roster, though. She
I
should be a
agree.
big deal across AEW because of being this forever champion. But they
Yeah.
don't. I don't understand it.
I don't understand either.
Was
Sorry, I
she
didn't
and
mean that.
Jade on AEW at the same time at all? Because we
I
were
don't
talking
think
earlier about who
so.
could
Let's see.
Jade have like a legit feud with, while she was at AEW. And the first person I thought was Athena, and exactly that forever Ring of Honor champion. But where is she, on TV every week?
Did she?
I just
When
know
did
that
she
her
leave?
feud with Statlander was probably like her best. Jade, so to speak.
I was like, I know she did some real Red Velvet. I know she had a Kiera Hogan thing with her baddies. Her baddies were out. They were fired. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. This is why I'm struggling with this baddie thing right now. Is because I think Michin and BFAB are great. BFAB is a fire person on the microphone. Okay, like I was like, can I hear her talk more? Can we figure this out? What do we do with her? But they just like, there's just something that like, I think it's also because AEW doesn't have that polish that they tend to have like on WWE. Like they just had to get out there and figure out what they was gonna say. Like, there was no writing team. You're gonna be out here trying to figure out your life. And I feel like they did a good job of that. But it looks like Athena showed up at 2022 at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. When did Jade leave the AEW? Y'all remember?
How do you in the past 2?
She left in 2023. So they were there.
Okay.
They were there in passing, I think. And
Yeah.
that could have been a really great feud, but they secluded her to ROH, and that was
Right.
that. So it was just like, it's again, sometimes that mix is a problem to me. Because I feel like I would have never known who Maya was if her and Mercedes didn't end up in that situation because I don't watch ROH, right? So I'm like, but as soon as I saw her, I was in love. I'm like, all right, Maya, where have you been my entire life? Find you. And the way she interacts with the fans and her like her attire, I was like, this is such a interesting and a good mix. And again, like I said, they've been using Persephone, they've been using Divine Dominion, which is a fantastic name.
They're really good tag team champions. I mean,
Like
they're probably going to drop them, but they've been really good. They've been very, very good tag team champions.
I just feel like we need more matches, right? Because even with the Brawling Birds, what's happening? I'm still trying to figure them out. Other than they're fun, that's it. That's all I got is that they're fun.
I think they've been
that's
trying
Will
to figure out who
Ospreay's-
Jamie Hayter is for like years, you know what I mean? Which is a shame because I love her and I think she's a great wrestler, but I don't know if they just get cold feet with character and they're like,
She was so good before. Her matches with Britt were phenomenal. I mean, she was really, really good before they turned her into the 70s chick. And now they moved her from the 70s chick to like, I don't even know what you classify that stereotype as. I got nothing. I'm sorry. But like, I'm not sure, like British, we get drunk and I don't know. I don't get it. But they are hard hitters. And her in particular she was one of my favorites. And I'm not sure what's happening now. And I kind of feel that way about Alex Windsor. When I watch her wrestle, I think she's fantastic. But can they stand on their own? Is my question.
Jamie
like
Hayter,
I feel like they're doing the same thing WWE does. Like, let's put you in a tag team.
Yeah.
With Jamie Hayter, was it injuries? Because I feel like she might still be, I don't know, dealing with that. That's why I thought that maybe they started doing tag teams.
Jamie Hayter. Maybe because she did look like she got hurt again.
Yeah.
Or maybe. Just in like the last year or so, I feel like is she still? That was my thing.
Yeah. But what about Alex Windsor? Like she was doing great on her own. But again, they don't really build. They don't build their characters either. So that's the other thing. Like I'm like, if you're not established before you get there, you in trouble. And that's why what worries me when I see people who want to join AEW. I'm like we were talking about maybe Bayley going there. And I was like, Bayley is really great, but I don't know. She would need a bigger push on her personality to really drive success in AEW because we know Mercedes was over the top, like Monet. Okay, she over the top everywhere. And so for me, if you don't bring that to them, you're not going to be successful. And that's my biggest concern in general is like they don't build up their women properly. The mid card isn't being built up properly. You just throw people in the tag teams and you give them maybe one and a half match, but it's going to be longer. That is the one thing. It's going to be longer than WWE. And it might be harder and more brutal. That too. Which I do love. I ain't gonna hold that.
And like somebody like the Bailey coming from WWE in just a mic work promo sense would absolutely need to code switch. And I wonder the same thing. I mean, not to get off topic, but like I'm sure they're going to be fine, and I can't wait for it. But I'm very curious. New Day, exactly, yeah, on AEW.
Oh no, I'm excited because
they're going to be great.
And Xavier are big personalities, right? And they existed outside of the WWE system in the sense of like that Netflix haunted house that I did watch. I don't know, ask me, no judgment, people. Watch that on Netflix. And then like the Bootios and all of the things and what Xavier was doing, Austin Creed, like outside with the up, the down channel and stuff. I feel like they actually have a great opportunity to position themselves really well. Plus, they're going to face off. They have one of the best tag team divisions ever over there. Like, I was really excited to see the Motor City Machine Guns there. I was like, oh, finally. And I was like, that's messed up because there was a time I didn't know who y'all were. But I'm happy you're here because, again, you're going to have like these phenomenal matches with these tag teams, and they're going to put emphasis on this. Even like Tanisha says, the grandpa's out here still doing it. I don't know how Cage and Adam are each week. You too? I'll be over there biting my fingers. Like, please don't hurt yourself.
He was running out there last night, and I was like, Grandpa, no, slow down.
Grandpa.
I was like,
yes, Grandpa, Candace, Grandpa. They pop.
Every time y'all say this,
you know what it is? No, they even like, they're not even like, how like Jay and them like you get the warning shot, and now we got Solo who goes pew pews. That's what I feel like when I look at them. They're pew pews.
You think the same thing about the Hardys?
She does.
Yes,
actually,
absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I saw them live, and I was like, hey, y'all tired. I literally came down. I was like, they tired. They need a vacation. I don't know how much more you can do. I don't know how many times you can go to the compound. It's time to go to the compound and take a break. And go on vacation and then come back.
Mm-hmm. She always does that. But can I tell you, the last WrestleMania I went to, I saw the main event was Triple H and The Undertaker. And I had took a break from watching wrestling, but I watched the entire match. And about halfway through, I looked at my brother and I said, they tired. I said, they tired, bro. They are soft. And he's like, what you mean? I was like, no, watch this. I said, look, he looked like, we about to get in this match. And I didn't realize, that was a while. It was in Atlanta. It was a while before, like, Undertaker, like, retired. But even then, I was like, you tired, fam? Like, I don't know. I just feel like at some point, you got to make a decision that this maybe not what you need to do. Like, go spend time with your chilling. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they want to see more.
For those long matches. And not everybody could probably do a 20-minute match.
Agreed. I agree. But at AEW, it's not even that. Like, we were watching, I don't know which one we were watching, but we were watching them. And as they were...
When Cope and he was in the ring mainly because the other one was knocked out on the ramp, and then all of a sudden he came out of nowhere and
he said he's not coming to work today. I was like, that was the one where I think it was the pay-per-view one where I was like, he said he's not coming to work. Okay, he said, check it out. I'm gonna walk out here, but my arm hurt, so you're gonna have to carry this entire match. And I was just like, why is Cage even there?
Christian is awesome, though. I mean,
I love his personality. I love his character. I laugh my behind off every time. because I was
turtleneck
like, he's such a
alone.
jerk. It's great.
What is he
Like,
wearing? What is he wearing in
I
the
don't
ring?
know.
I
I don't
don't get
know.
it.
I don't either. I was like, he must be hot. I don't know what's
It's like a
Why is he
turtleneck
wearing a turtleneck? Hmm
shirt.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
See a little bit of his gun, you know, not see
He said no.
the wrinkles on his neck.
That's
Why
got to be what it is, actually, now you mention it.
are you like this? Anyway, my point is back to the women. That is my biggest concern with AEW. And to fix it, I feel like they need to, again, spend more time on the women's storylines. I would like to see some of the same attention to promos that we get to people like the Death Riders, because I feel like their promos are really good and they sell a story. I would say the same thing about Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, which made me go back and watch their Wrestle Kingdom match today. So I want to tell y'all. Like, I went back and watched it because I had questions. I was like, what is he talking about? So my thing is like that same kind of attention should be given. And I feel like the last time we saw something like that, Mercedes was in front of a mirror and I was very confused as to what was happening with all that paint. I was like, girl, confusion. Okay. But I feel like Willow's story coming back from the injury was really good. So I would just like to know more about their characters. They need to build them and they need to let them like grow in-house instead of getting people from everywhere else and popping them in for the extended period of time. Also, find Britt Baker. Either let her go or let her wrestle. Okay? Where's she at? I heard she's not even a dentist no more. So can she like be somewhere? I saw somewhere a rumor that she was about to be Danhausen's dentist, and I was like, ding ding, please. Find the lady, free the lady, bring her somewhere. Okay. That's all.
I mean, I think they do have the people. It's just about.
It's the creative.
Well, is it Tony? Isn't TK the creative?
Yep. Sometimes you can't do it all. You need a little help. You know what I'm saying? You need to go ahead and get you a writer's room that is diverse. You need more females. You need diverse females.
You know,
you need
Kiara's-
different cultures. I am
Kiara's for
available.
sale.
I can help.
not for sale, but she's
Not for
available.
sale,
Mhm.
but she definitely
I just
can
said
work for. Not for sale. Nice try. I'm gonna go ahead and tell my husband you said I'm a dentist.
no.
You're like, wait, what? All right. Last thing.
I have a question. I have to wonder if maybe the issue with AEW is kind of the opposite, but the same as WWE, because Copeland came out this week and said he would never go back to WWE because he has freedoms in his own creative that he never had at WWE. That he has his own say, he does what he wants. He's able to be his own creator at AEW that he never was able to do, that he felt basically hamstringed at WWE. So you have to wonder if because we have a single creator at AEW and the wrestlers may have more say in what they're doing, that because there's not a group of writers to kind of keep a cohesion, that maybe there's too much Wild Wild West at AEW and there's too much under the thumb on WWE, that there's no middle ground. Like there's two extremes.
Yeah.
And there's no middle ground where you can have a brainstorming and a group that is diverse and that understands, that can say, okay, what do you want to do with your storyline, Mercedes? Let's talk this through, that it makes sense with who we're putting you with, right? And so they work together to do it, where there's no parameters at AEW, there's only parameters at WWE. So neither place can find that middle ground of creativity and buy-in that makes sense for their women's division.
Yeah, I think you're
I'm
absolutely
going to
right.
challenge that.
I think you might be right. Why is your challenge?
I'm only challenging it because I think with WWE that they want to do this, right? So if we think about, let's take Naomi's character, right? She came up with that character, right? But because pretty much they wanted her to come back, so it was like they were going to let her go with it, right? Or even like just say the bloodline. That's not. I can tell you right now from watching Unreal, that is not all of them coming up with that storyline. That definitely seems like that's some of Roman or whoever else in the
Paul
pot
Heyman.
making it work, making it go there, right? So I think for WWS, it does have, you do have the ones that are underneath the thumb, just like with Liv. why do you have the title and you're not fighting? What's the purpose of it, right?
100
Just to
days,
go
y'all.
back to
100 days
what,
without title offense. That's what it was. 100
right?
days.
But you have your favorites, just like with Rhea, right? I'm not sorry that she got injured, but what did they end up doing instead of just stripping her from the title like they would do anybody else?
Right.
So, so I'm gonna like I said, that's why I'm challenging it, because at the end of the day, like everybody have a favorite. Because even when I watch AEW, I feel like they got favorites in there too.
They do.
Sure.
Like you have people that could be
Mercedes has her
developing.
own creative.
Um,
She does her own creative, Mercedes. I also think Tony Storm was
Mhm.
able to do her own type of thing. But I also think like what Stacey said is probably why, right? But they also had a
mhm.
direction for their creative. Like some people are going to be naturally able to do that, where they're like they understand. Like Mercedes is a huge wrestling head, so she understood the game, what she wanted, where she wanted to go. I think Tony was very theatrical, so she was able to kind of put these characters together and create the story that worked, right? With what's her name, Mariah May, then Blake Monroe now, right? So I feel like there were things that were able to work there, but that middle ground is probably where everybody needs to meet at the end of the day, because a lot of people who leave WWE don't know what they're going. They like that all their handlers are gone, so they don't know what to do,
I
and
mean,
they're
but I feel like, sorry, I want you to finish your thought.
no, you're fine. That was it. They're confused.
That's also feeling like with a lot of the people from the AEW, they probably do need, I guess, a cohesive creative. But I feel like these people are these performers are capable of doing their own creative, especially with a lot of them coming from the indies.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are not your Obas, your Tricks,
Right.
Right.
your Jada. These are not like homegrown talent. So I do think that these
Mm.
people are sort of capable of, and they probably have been. I mean, maybe Karrion Cross is the exception, but like he is somebody out there who kind of has a handle on who he is. And so I do think like I feel like a lot of the people in AEW, they don't have, well, I guess ROH is maybe their developmental pipeline, but still even those people are people who came from the indies. I think that they're capable of kind of creating their character. I think I mean, in terms of booking and TV time, that's a different story. But I don't know. I think they're
That's
capable.
fair. I think that's another point because you're right. There are people who were on the indies, so at the end of the day, they're able to like tell some of those stories. Because on the indies, a lot of times that is you having to get over on your own. Like, how am I going to get over? So I definitely think you have a point there. But I still think like you still need someone to have the reins of it. Hi, John. You need someone to have the reins of the story to be able to make sure all the pieces work. Because I think even if you're watching it right now, like the conglomeration, I'm like, what's going on here? What's happening? Why are you like? I was like, okay, Jay was in the ring. Jay got beat up. Then conglomeration came out. Then the dogs came back. And I was like, whoa, 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 what's happening? I was just like, because sometimes they
Yeah.
go overboard because
Yeah.
they don't have anyone to be like, can we wait to beat him up into the back? Like, can we? I need you to have your moment to shine. So I think that's where like having someone over it to be able to map it out in a way would be more helpful. Just like I think like I agree in WWE they have that homegrown talent problem, right? Where these people aren't learning these things. Those are things that you need to do. But I think one of the ways they could adjust that is to let them do more of the road shows because that's where all that stuff created. Like you figure out like who your character is, what your character will do, what they won't do. And by eliminating that for such a long time, you don't allow them to have that sense of it. And so a lot of them have identity crisis. Like, I don't know. Which is why a lot of them, when they leave WWE, I'm done wrestling. Like, that's not my thing. Like, I'm going to go do whatever else to do.
I mean, Natty might be different because she was able to go to Bloodsport. But I mean, you have, I guess they still have their contract with Noah. Well, yeah, because I think Omos is there. But go to AAA. I mean, TNA might be a little bit different, but you can go to AAA. You can go to Noah. I mean, that's actually what I want for Jada. I want her to do something. Like, I want her to kind of get out of the NXT, like,
I want Kalani to
work
do it too.
mindset. I want her to go to somewhere else, learn a different style. I think also
Yes.
you're in front of a different audience, so you have to. You're gonna have to probably gonna be some pivoting. You're probably gonna have to think a little bit differently. So I think that that's also an option as well.
I do. I think that's a great idea. That's another thing that I think would work because again, like they don't have that space, I feel like, to do that. And that's the problem. Because a lot of that the Beckys and the Seths and all of that, they're wrestling heads. That's their thing. That's how they're able to create these characters that feel larger than life. Roman, right? Like he's able to create this character because it's really just him, dialed all the way up, right? So they have like opportunities, and they do send people to Japan. I was about to say that they sent Hank and Tank to Japan, but they also sent who is it? The guys who speak Spanish, the Mud something T something. I can't think of what their name is. It's a tag team. They were in Booker T's school for a bit, and they did some matches for Reality of Wrestling, and I felt like that made them sharper and better. I'm gonna figure out what their name is in a minute because they're my new favorites, even though they look like they're breaking up on NXT. I hope they don't break up. But they were the ones like Jada came out with them initially before they branched them off. So I feel like there are opportunities, but not everyone's gonna take advantage of it. But I definitely think sending people to like Japan or something like that. Even they sent Charlie Dempsey to Japan, but I think that's because of who his daddy is, right?
Right.
He was like, I know where you're going to train. So I just definitely think like they need more exposure somehow.
Yes.
But I would say like with AEW's problem, maybe it's too much exposure. Because I think also when you look at like Out the Mud, thank you, OTM.
Oh, OTM. Yeah, I think of them as OTM, not their like.
I was like, something mud. I got nothing. Thank you so much. Because I definitely couldn't remember their names. I hope they don't break up. I'm serious. But I do feel like because they're always the independent people, they create things. And that sometimes will cause you a problem as you bring them in. So the only thing that actually concerns me when I think back, Skinner, of New Day coming in is like how they're going to adjust to that. Because if you look at what the Hurt Syndicate did, it worked and then it didn't, right? So it's like, how do you bridge that coming in here? Are you going to be the edgier New Day that we saw before you left WWE? Because that's what I want to see.
Same.
Right.
I want that funeral promo, New Day. That was
me too.
Amazing. And they didn't even talk about it on Raw. I just thought
that was glorious.
On YouTube. Amazing. So yeah, I think they're totally capable of it. They're both incredibly talented. They have a way with words. And so I think they should be good.
Yeah, I think that would be really fun. And so I am hoping that they are coming to join. I'm not exactly happy that it seems like it's going to be a swerve situation, but I guess what can I do about that if it brings me? Are they going to make me like him? Probably not. Good luck.
Well, I think the man doubled. So I mean, it's going to be like a 6-on-6 kind of thing. I don't know.
Also, sidebar. Hangman Page just be the extra one out. He just be the extra one out. Hangman Page will join a tag team, a friend, a cousin, anybody, just to become a champion. Like, what is that about? I was like, wait, were you a world champion and now you about to?
Well, he can't. What? He can't compete for it anymore, so he has to, which is his fault. But
you can't. Okay, you can't compete for it. Yes. Well, MJF don't got the belt anymore. And MJF is killing it. And that's the thing is MJF, his character work, it's phenomenal. Like him and Andrade have me in stitches. I was like, I'm saying Andrade's tagline. I'm watching it. Like, how you know? I don't know, sir. I don't even know if it's appropriate right now, but how you know? Like, this is something that I think works again because they have that balance too. Because also, I would argue that a lot of the other talent in Mexico, and they all have been doing that. Like, I'm actually kind of hoping Santos end up over there without a mask. Please.
Right.
In AEW?
Yes. I was like, I'm hoping Santos ends up there. I know he has a new name. I can't remember what it is. Sorry. But I think he would fit in well because of his natural kind of charisma and story. That's kind of, I feel like. I was like, but I don't want him in TNA. Speaking of which, that's our next one. Listen here, TNA has a lot of problems. Let me just tell you that right now.
they have roster issues. So like I feel like part of me feels bad. So I'm like, you get a little less smoke. They're
I
trying.
don't feel bad. Listen here, and this is let me tell you why.
They're trying over there.
We watched Dark Side of the Ring. Okay, we watched that whole 3-part situation. That episode is coming out tomorrow, y'all. And when I tell you, I learned so much about Jeff Jarrett and what he did and what he built and why he did it. That I'm looking at this like, what are you people doing? what are you doing? Because when Naomi went over there, she was able to be successful. When Mara Sade went over there, again, really turned her into a star, I feel like. And then we start to see people leaving. Like, oh, I'm out, we're out, everybody's out, we don't want to work here. We don't have anybody over the women's knockout division. Gail's in some kind of legal situation with them. Like, people are getting fired, and you're on AMC, and now we don't have enough talent. So last week's Impact, Kiara turns it on because I'm like, let's figure out what's going on. And why do I see Wendy Chu? And I'm like, girl, did you transfer? Do you go there now? Like, what is happening? Weren't you just on Evolve? Aren't you a champion somewhere? But now you're fighting for the TV championship with Zaya Brookside, or I'm sorry, the women's knockouts championship. Like, what is happening over there? Is it the story? Is it the business? No one's really saying why they're leaving. I feel like it's in shambles of what used to be this really great, powerful division. And so it's actually really frustrating for me because I remember hearing so much about it and how incredible they were. And then this is what we're left with. NXT plus. Like, we just got people. And if you are going to do that, then I suggest you do some transfers for real. Like, can we take a Kalani over there? Let her work over there. Like, don't let them come back and forth. Like, I don't want nobody to get fired, so I just want to acknowledge that. But if this is going to be a feeder system, if you're going to use this to help get people where they need to be, then maybe they need to go there.
Right.
Respectfully. Again, I'm not trying to get anybody fired, but I'm just saying that is how you build a continuity of a division, because it is in shambles. Like, I was shocked they even had them numbers. I didn't go hold you. I said it's probably because it was from months ago that we just combined it together. But it's a hot mess, and I can't feel bad because y'all have a TV deal, and there's lots of other wrestling promotions that don't have that opportunity who are doing a lot of great work. And even seeing like Ashay's wrestling down here, and when I went to Charlotte, they did a lot. They were backstage. There was all this stuff going on. I was like, oh my God, what's happening? Pause, come back. Like, still watch it, available on YouTube, y'all. And so, like, it's possible to create these things. So what's happening where you can't?
I mean, I do think for the most part, I think there's I mean, the show is fun. I mean, I don't know if I would say it's good, but I feel like TNA, from what I've seen recently, I do think it's fun. I mean, it's probably hard to have like long storylines when your talent's not saying. I think Mara, she left, right? Mara Sade, she's gone. I think Jody Threat left.
Yes.
Um,
Jody Threat and Mara Sade were the last ones. Who else was it? There were
and then
several.
they got rid of Victoria Crawford. I think she was released.
She was again. How we releasing people when you don't got enough people to fill the show? Like, it's not interesting. Listen, it ain't just me. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who's saying it. It's not interesting, and it used to be so interesting. I remember when I first watched. I was watching not too long ago. I was watching Mickie James and Ash by Elegance go in, and I was like, "Ooh, this is good." Nothing. I got nothing now. I'm just like, and watching Mara Sade. Like, I want to go back to what we talked about with the mixed tag teams that were doing great in AAA. I think that should just come back, period, because it is a lot of fun, like watching Mara and Nick Nemeth or Ryan. It was Ryan Nemeth. In that match, I was in stitches. I was like, "Girl, yes," and then I was like, "He hit her. That's horrible. No good. Very bad." Like it was a whole wealth of feelings, right? And I just feel like this is it's a mess. It's a mess all the way around, and they need to. I know I said this in the past. They need to really focus on building up their pipeline, but like for real. And I know they have some new people coming in. I know Elena Black is there. But they need like established names. So it is rumored that Zelina might be looking and going back there. Zelina with an X. I don't know. I don't think it's still Zelina, but you know what I'm saying. There's some rumors that she might make it back, but I'm like,
Make
do
it
I
back to
fix TNA?
WWE or TNA? Oh, yeah, TNA. Yeah, I think
I'm like, is that going to fix it? Do we need more people? Looks like WWE is going to be emptying the coffers again soon. So we might have some people in October who are going to be soon to be free. But like, they need talent. They need established talent to go over there and like have killer matches is what they need.
I mean, they do kind of have established talents. Okay. I mean, we're talking about women.
That's
yes,
it.
girl.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing with Leon and Cedric and all. I mean, I enjoyed the show if you look at it from that perspective, but I did not enjoy the females matches of the show because I was like, who, what, where? Like, I don't get it.
Oh, I just like the Elegance brands. I always enjoy them. But
yes, but
I mean, you can't just have the Elegance brand. I get it.
Who else? We need talent. That's my thing. That's my biggest thing here. Y'all need talent. Y'all need to build a pipeline of people. You need to sign them to a contract. You need to keep them there. You need to work on your creative, and you need to build it. Because I think you can do it. Because we are seeing that happen with Leon and Cedric and like, what's his name, Sosa, and like a lot of this talent is interesting and getting over.
Yeah.
They had Jeff.
I guess.
They had Jeff and Nick fighting for the championship. Like what? It's possible to get things together. I just think the women's division is non-existent, and to have it come from its glory days to where it is now is just sad. So I'm hoping like y'all need to get to work. You need to sign some people who are doing amazing things on the indies, and you need to
hire Mickey James to take over the Knockouts division.
Yeah, you could.
Good.
That's a good plan. Because it's just
got
not,
the right experience and perspective, you know.
She would be really valuable for them. Actually, did she sign her Legends deal with WWE? Is she back doing that? I don't know. I'm saying this because I know, like, often when they do the Legends deal, they can't do like, other type promotion stuff. So
yeah, isn't that why we don't see Flair?
Who?
Ric Flair. Because he has a contract with AEW, so we don't see him anymore.
We ain't gonna never see that man again because he was talking junk as usual. We see him
also,
talking about
a social pariah who needs his phone thrown into the ocean. But
if I was his daughter, I'd be like, "Can we cut this off?"
Right?
We'll just tell him it has internet, but it won't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it won't post. It'll post to like a fake account, and then I'll immediately delete it, so he never sees it. Like, there's some people you gotta take their stuff away. When you get a little older. I got some of those people I know where you just be like, oh, I'm gonna turn the Bluetooth off. So it just can't. We're just gonna disconnect it so you can't post. Because you're right, in the ocean, in the depths of the ocean,
right,
with no ability to get it back. Period.
Yep.
No ability to get it back. Well, today I feel like we unpacked a lot. I feel like we have gone over and above and beyond for all the promotions and all the work that we think can be done. I think it's easy to say from this perspective that there is problems, but I also feel like it's not as easy to talk about solutions. It's not as easy to think about that. Everybody can complain, but nobody has a solution. And so I'm really happy that we sat down and had an entire conversation where we delved into all the problems that we saw and even provided some solutions that we think that may make some significant changes. And I'm hoping that they take fingers free of charge.
This time.
Amen. Not forever.
Right.
Not forever. Just this time. And y'all can mark this video. So when we see it, we could be like, look, they was listening. Crazy work. Crazy work. They were listening.
They finally got a name. Yay. It's not baddies.
It is baddies, Candace.
Right?
I'm sorry.
I've never
right to
seen
Jade.
baddies like across the screen. So as far as I'm concerned, they're unnamed.
Well, it reminds me of what we did when we had Yeet and when they had it and then they had to take it off and then they had to put it back. And so I was like, is this baddies with like a Z or something? Like, I have not seen any shirts or merchandise yet. And It has not been on the screen. So it's just been, who was it? Was that Michael Cole?
Yes.
Corey Graves or the Corey?
Yeah.
It was
Corey sometimes. I was like, I forget who just be on second. But I know Michael Cole has said it at least 3 times. And I was like, baddie? He's like, in there, baddies. And I was like,
right. And so uncomfortably.
Yeah.
Like terribly.
I was like,
not their name.
It's their name, unfortunately. I like it. I just feel like they need to narrow down on something. Like, put it on the screen so we can all, commiserate. Or do what she did in AEW when she had baddies in the crowd. Because I would get dressed up for that. I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I will come through for that one because I think that is a good way to treat your female fans right. Okay, you could be a baddie in the city. I'm saying,
yep.
And we will buy tickets just to be there, just to be on the screen. If Andrade can go out there and kiss people on the screen, remember Angel and Berto used to do that with the flowers.
I like that.
Y'all need more audience participation. That's what I'm gonna say.
You need to wind it down this more. You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially with those pieces.
Mm-hmm. Y'all need to be giving me more than just maybe one day pasta with Liv in Italy. That's gonna cost me like 2-3 rent payments, or getting on Cody's bus, or better yet, putting my name on the mat so you can cut it out and send it. Because that's crazy. That's crazy. That is not a gift I want anyone, in case you have that in mind. Don't do it. All right, with that, it's been such a blast with you ladies. We had a really good time chatting and really unpacking everything. Hi, Exclusive Nights. Thanks for checking in. And with that, I think we've just had the best conversation. This is part 1. The next time I'm going to bring in some inner circle people from the wrestling business. If you are a wrestler, a referee, you're in the indies, I want to talk to you. I want to know what you think can be fixed and your perspective on the state of the women's division overall, because who knows better than the people doing that and seeing it and living in it day to day. So, ladies, tell everybody where they can find y'all. Starting with Stacey.
Another great night. Thank you for having me. I love being here with my ladies. You can catch me every Wednesday night on the Executives View podcast. Me and the guys, we break down all things WWE every Wednesday night on Meta, X, and YouTube at the Executives View, 9 p.m. Eastern.
You want to catch that? All right, Candace. Shout out to Candace, who is modeling our main event, Mama's hoodie, where you can get that. Get your merch. It is on our website. All right, Candace, where can they find you?
I'm usually just available on Instagram. It's at Candy Wendy. So you can just reach out to me. Just say, hey, I'm a wrestling fan too. I like to talk wrestling, and we can connect.
We love us some Candace. All right, Skinner.
Same. I'm just a wrestling fan. I don't have any podcasts or anything in the pipeline now, but that could always change. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at evil_cat_hag. And yeah, I'm up for chatting about wrestling any day, all day. So hit me up.
I'm sure we're gonna have y'all back because y'all know we love us a panel. You know we love us a panel. We have a great time with everybody. Where you can follow us, because we are a podcast. So Tanisha, where can they do that? Is she frozen? She might be frozen. She frozen? Okay, never mind. I will tell you. So you can find us on Apple, on Spotify, on Audible, on Apple Podcasts, on anywhere your podcasts are going ultimately. Like, y'all can do it. Pocket Podcasts, all the places. And you can also check out our website, maineventmamaspodcast.com, where you will find all the things, the videos, the merch, our blogs. And we're getting ready to open a brand new community for you guys on Discord. So we're going to be on there. You can chat us through as we are watching our shows, because we don't do live watching shows together, but we can definitely communicate together on Discord about what you see, what you like, and what we clearly don't know, since y'all all like to tell us that in the chat. You can also follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitch, if you are watching us there. Pretty much everywhere. You know that. And on TikTok, we also have a Main Event Mamas TV channel where we unpack all reality TV. We are watching Married at First Sight, so y'all know. If you know, you know. We getting ready to watch this week's episodes and unpack why them people should not be married on that show again. Ever. Some of y'all just really need to rethink y'all decisions on reality TV. We're also going to be coming back very soon for our Love Island reunion, because I know y'all had fun laughing at us as we laughed at Sincere and Melanie and Bryce and Trinity. And Kiara is still holding up hope for Carl and Anaya's wedding. Fingers crossed, in about 3 to 4 years. We want to see that across our feet. Not now, because no need to speed through that piece. And with that, I want to say, oh yeah, I forgot to say this. Tanisha hates when I forget this. You can also follow us individually, but not Kevlin, because she's still in witness protection. But you can find me at Content Vixen on X and Kiara on Brand everywhere else. I do have a freelance business, Pen to Perfection. So if you need help with your LinkedIn, hit me up. If you need help with your podcast, hit me up. We didn't get to 500 views for nothing. It takes a lot of marketing experience, and I want to help y'all. And with that, we want to say we are not new to this. Let's see. Maybe she gonna pop in and finish. We're not new to this.
Oh, we're so new to this. This is midnight. I don't know, my internet sucks. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye, y'all. I'm pretty sure she's only in one scene. Good gosh, girl. Back and forth. All right.